What if the world had never woken up to the horrors of October 7th, 2023? No rockets, no air raid sirens, no terrified families hiding underground, and no headlines screaming war in Gaza. Imagine that morning. The sun rises over Israel and Palestine just like any other day, but peace, fragile as glass, somehow holds. This is not a fantasy. It's a question. What if the conflict that changed the Middle East in 2023 never happened? Let's rewind. For decades, the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea has been a symbol of both faith and fire. Jews, Muslims, and Christians all call it home. Yet that same sacred soil has seen endless wars. In 1947, the United Nations drew a line, planning to create two countries, Israel and Palestine. But that line became a wound that never healed. Wars followed in 1948, 1967, and again. By the 2000s, Gaza was under Hamas control, and Israel had surrounded it with walls and checkpoints. Tension was always there, waiting to explode. Then came October 7th, 2023. Hamas launched a brutal attack, killing civilians, taking hostages, and shocking the entire world. Israel struck back with overwhelming force. Cities turned to rubble, families were torn apart, and humanity once again lost itself to hate. But let's flip that story. What if the attack never happened? What if Hamas chose diplomacy over destruction? What if Israel's intelligence stopped the assault before it began? What if, for once, both sides took a step back instead of firing forward? In that alternate world, Gaza isn't drowning in dust and hunger. Children go to school, not shelters. Israel doesn't bury hundreds of its people in 1 week. Families across the border still argue, but through words, not bombs. The Middle East stays tense but stable. The U.S. focuses on rebuilding peace instead of sending weapons. The UAE and Saudi Arabia move forward with normalization talks with Israel, opening the door to new trade, tech, and tourism. And in Gaza, aid workers rebuild homes instead of digging graves. Without the war, maybe hope grows. Slow, small, but real. The two-state solution, once a dying dream, might find a heartbeat again. People begin to imagine a future where an Israeli kid and a Palestinian kid could actually go to the same university someday. But let's be honest, even in this peaceful timeline, not everything is perfect. The blockade still hurts Gaza, settlements still expand, distrust doesn't vanish overnight. Yet compared to the real world we live in, this alternate reality feels like a miracle we missed. Because on October 7th, the world didn't just lose lives. It lost years of progress, diplomacy, and hope. Millions of hearts were scarred, and peace was pushed further away than ever. So why ask what if? Because by imagining what could have been, we learn what we could still build. Maybe someday, leaders will realize that the price of war is always too high. And peace is not just a dream, but a decision. If the conflict of October 7th never happened, the Middle East might still have its wounds. But maybe, just maybe, they'd be healing instead of bleeding.